Bitwit's coverage of Computex 2019 is brought to you by Fantex, Cooler Master, Gigabyte, Enermax, Team Group, NZXT, and Corsair. To learn more about our sponsors, click on the links below. Okay, naturally, we're going to check out X570 boards from all the vendors we can, and here we have MSI's offering. So we're going to start off with their sort of entry-level, or I should say mid-range boards first. These are going to obviously be the most affordable, just giving you the essential features that most gamers are going to want, none of the features that you probably don't need that you're going to definitely have to pay extra for. So for starters, we have the MPG X570 Gaming Edge Wi-Fi, and next to that is the MPG X570 Gaming Pro Carbon Wi-Fi, and these are going to be very similarly priced with just some minute differences between the two. You can see this one actually has black and red accents, so if you're planning to go for a distinctively red color scheme, that might be an option. Here we have a bit more color neutral design. Obviously the aesthetics are going to be probably the biggest difference between these two boards. Each board also has one NVMe PCIe Gen 3 M.2 SSD slot, which is nice to have. If you kind of look here, you can actually see the I/O cover is relatively large. It's a heatsink, and it looks to be all metallic. It's all aluminum, so it's actually functionally cooling down some of the VRM. You can see it extends well beyond just the actual VRM portion here, just to give more surface area and additional heat dissipation. X570 is prone to getting much hotter than X470 after all. That's why we have active cooling fans as well. I'm going to talk more about these fans in just a little bit as we scale up to the higher quality boards, or the more expensive boards, I should say. Bumping one step up, we have the MPG X570 Gaming Pro Carbon Wi-Fi. This is, of course, got some carbon fiber inlays right there. Very, very, very sporty looking. You can see that we actually have two M.2 slots on this guy. Again, both of them PCIe Gen 4. Chipset fan, and you can see the heatsink configuration across this whole area of the board is a bit more substantial and robust than some of the cheaper options. Can't forget RGB. Gotta love RGB. Here we have the MEG X570 Ace. This thing is pretty beautiful, especially if you're trying to go for a black and gold theme system here. You can see we actually get two 8-pin EPS 12-volt connectors for our CPU, which is going to be awesome if you're dropping in a higher core count CPU into this board, which is really what it's targeted for with AMD's announcement that they're going to be going up to 12 and potentially even 16 cores on Ryzen 3000 CPUs. You're going to want more power delivery, cleaner power. The VRMs are a bit more beefed up, actually significantly beefed up on these boards compared to the ones we just looked at. So if you're going for Hyper 8-core Ryzen 3000 CPUs, this board is going to be very well suited for the job. We also get 1, 2, 3 PCIe Gen 4 M.2 slots. I believe this board also includes a PCIe card that'll give you 2 more M.2 slots, so giving you a total of 5 drives, and I believe you can raid those together to get some really insane numbers that we've seen earlier. You can see we also have Wi-Fi 6 on board. Nice BIOS flashback and clear CMOS buttons on the back are very handy features to have. A few other features we're familiar with seeing on high-end MSI boards like surface mounted power and reset, a handy little overclocking knob if you don't want to fiddle around too much in the BIOS, and we have a troubleshooting debug LED as well. This isn't even the highest end board that they have here though. If you come over here, we have the MEG, or the MEG Godlike. This is where it's at. Okay, this is if you're dropping in a 16 core, you want absolutely zero compromise. The VRM setup is a 14+4+1 power phase delivery. Absolutely insane. Like the Ace motherboard, we have 3 M.2 slots here. Also comes included with that PCIe Gen 4 PCI Express card that I was mentioning earlier, the M.2 expander. That's what the card looks like right there. This board also comes with a 10 gigabit Ethernet LAN card. Slots right into your board, which is super great for networking purposes. Additionally, I think there's a 1 gigabit and 5 gigabit port already pre-built into the board as well, so still really nice transfer speeds there. There's an LCD screen here. They didn't really mention that too much, but I would imagine it's configurable. Maybe you can put something a bit more useful on there, like system diagnostics, thermals, voltage, and is this a mirror? This is just a mirror, you know, in case you need to get ready for a party or something. No, there's probably some kind of flashy RGB. Oh yeah, there's RGB on there. It's just an RGB thing. You can also see the cooling solution on the chipset here is a bit more beefed up. There's actually a heat pipe running from the chipset itself to the rest of the VRM, so you're actually getting active cooling on these areas of the board as well because of the fan. Now I told you I'd circle back to these fans. Now obviously having fans on the chipset is not ideal because at some point the fans are destined to fail. However, MSI has taken some precautions to make their fans allegedly better than the competition by introducing things like double ball bearings, so you're going to get bajillion hours of lifespan fan here. They're actually going to be much more reliable and have much more longevity than the competition. Propeller blade technology, which is going to aid in cooling as well as noise. There's also a zero frozer technology that they built into the fan. So under a certain power load, the fan's not going to spin up at all. You can see it's actually not spinning up at all right now, but that's because the board's not powered on really. And then there's also tuning fan control. This is going to be software based as well. So depending on the load, the fan will ramp up and down seamlessly so that it's not too distracting, but also providing adequate cooling regardless of the task at hand. And then I've saved potentially the best for last here. We have the Prestige X570 creation. A little bit difficult to see with all this backlighting, but this board is incredibly over-engineered. We have a 14 plus 2-phase power design. It's of course 14 for the CPU and 2 for the DDR4. Just beautiful board. It has a lot of nice silver and black accents that we're used to. You can also see that we have the same heat pipe design that we saw in the Godlike that's going straight from the X570 chipset all the way to the rest of the VRM. So you're actually getting that same active cooling from that fan completely across the board, which is a very nice implementation. We have 1, 2, 3 full-size PCIe Gen 4 slots, and it also looks like we have, I believe there's 2 M.2 slots here that are again PCIe Gen 4. This probably includes, I would assume that it includes the same expansion cards, although we do get a dual LAN with a 10 gigabit Ethernet, which is very nice. The other thing I noticed here is that there's actually dual USB 3.0 headers, 20 pin, which is really nice. I like the fact that they're right next to each other and they're both right angle. That's going to help clean up cable management quite significantly. Of course, no word on pricing yet for any of these boards, although we can expect all of them to become available on the day of launch for Ryzen 3000, so just around the corner. You guys let me know which board's your favorite. I personally am really into the Ace and the Godlike. I think those are the ones I would reach out for first, assuming that my wallet would sustain that choice. But you guys let me know what your preference is down below.